Right now, your brain is doing something it was never supposed to do. It's being stimulated constantly. Every notification, every scroll, every tab you have open in the background that you keep meaning to close. Your brain hasn't had a single uninterrupted moment of nothing in longer than you can probably remember. And here's what nobody tells you about that. It's killing a system your brain depends on to function. Not metaphorically, literally. For 300,000 years, your ancestors spent enormous portions of their day doing absolutely nothing. Not meditating. Not reflecting intentionally. Not practicing mindfulness with an app telling them to breathe. Just sitting, waiting, staring at a fire or a horizon, with no input coming in and no output expected. Scientists used to call this wasted time. They were spectacularly wrong. In 2001, a neuroscientist named Marcus Raichle made a discovery that shouldn't have been possible. He was scanning the brains of people lying still inside an fMRI machine, doing nothing at all. He expected the brain to go quiet. Instead, it lit up. A specific network of regions, the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate, the hippocampus, all fired together. Raichle called it the default mode network, the system your brain runs when you give it nothing to do. At first, researchers assumed it was background noise, a biological screensaver. They were wrong about that too. The default mode network isn't idle processing. It's the most metabolically expensive state your brain enters. It burns more energy doing nothing than it does solving complex math problems. And what it's doing during that time is something no other cognitive process can replicate. It's running you. When your brain enters the default mode, it begins connecting experiences across time. It takes something that happened 3 weeks ago and links it to something that happened this morning, and finds a pattern you never consciously noticed. It runs simulations of future scenarios. It rehearses social situations. It processes unresolved emotion. It builds the narrative thread that turns a collection of disconnected moments into something that feels like a life. This is where insight lives. This is where creativity lives. This is where empathy is constructed. The capacity to imagine what someone else is experiencing. This is where the version of you that actually understands yourself gets built. And modern humans have nearly destroyed access to it. In 2010, Harvard psychologists Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert published a study
tracking 2,250 adults throughout their daily lives using a smartphone app.
The app pinged them at random intervals and asked 3 questions. What are you doing? What are you thinking about? How happy are you? The results were striking. People's minds were wandering 47% of the time. Nearly half of every waking hour, people were not thinking about what they were doing. They were somewhere else entirely. But here's the part that mattered. A wandering mind was consistently associated with lower happiness. Not because mind wandering itself is bad, but in 2010, when your mind wandered, It didn't wander into open space.
It wandered into anxiety,
Into rumination.
into low-level chronic stress.
That fills every gap when there's no genuine stillness to anchor to. The network needs emptiness to work properly. Give it genuine boredom, and it generates insight. Give it fragmented pseudo-rest, and it generates noise.
Your phone didn't give your brain rest.
It gave your brain a different kind of work. Shallow, reactive, low-reward work.
That occupies just enough attention to block the default mode network from engaging,
while providing just enough stimulation to prevent the deeper stillness that actually restores you. It's the worst possible state. Not work, not rest. Something in between. That delivers the exhaustion of both without the benefit of either. Your ancestors understood this without knowing the neuroscience. Not because they were wise, because they had no choice. A hunter sitting at the edge of camp, waiting for game, had nothing. No input, no stimulation, just wind and time. And what it did was exactly what brains are built to do when left alone. It wandered productively. It solved problems that hadn't been consciously identified yet. It found connections between yesterday's hunt and last season's migration patterns. The kind of slow, layered understanding that cannot be rushed. There's a word for the state ancient humans spent hours in every day. We call it boredom. And we have spent the last century building an entire civilization dedicated to making sure you never feel it. In 2014, a study published in Science asked participants to sit alone in a room for 15 minutes with nothing to do. The room had one object in it, a button. The button delivered a mild electric shock. Before the experiment began, every participant said they found it unpleasant and would pay money to avoid it. Then they were left alone for 15 minutes. 2/3 of men and 1/4 of women chose to shock themselves. One participant shocked himself 190 times. 15 minutes. We have lost the skill of unstructured thought. Not the desire for it, the skill. Shallow boredom. The agitated, restless discomfort of wanting stimulation and not having it.
Deep boredom. A slower, quieter state that only emerges if you stay with the shallow phase long enough.
Most modern humans never reach it. The shallow phase hits, and we immediately reach for our phones. Darwin walked. Einstein played violin. Kekulé discovered the ring structure of benzene in a daydream. These are not coincidences. These are the default mode network finishing work it started during focused effort. Your brain is not broken when it craves boredom. It's working exactly as designed. You are not failing to put your phone down because you lack willpower. You are losing a fight that was designed for you to lose. 300,000 years of evolution designed a brain that requires genuine emptiness to maintain itself. The gap was the only thing that could fix it.